Hello, welcome to the Wise Way to Success podcast. And this is a special episode today. We are talking about holiday blues and how it feels during the holidays, especially now with COVID, how to feel better when we are being more isolated and away from our loved ones, or if we are lonely during this time of year, what can we do to feel better? So I hope you enjoy this episode where I'm going to give you some strategies and tools to feel better during the holidays. So let's talk about holiday blues and how that feels. So a lot of times people around this year, they don't feel good. They feel lonely, they feel sad, they feel isolated because they're either not with loved ones or they don't have loved ones to be with. So today, I want to start with a very simple strategy, which is what I believe is a key component to feel good and feel better, which is gratitude. So this is a time of year where I think it's super important. It's always important, but super important around the holidays, around this time when we feel stressed or sad or lonely, depressed. Maybe the weather is making us also not feel good. To practice, what are we grateful for? So let's talk about gratitude and the importance of gratitude. Gratitude is the opportunity to be able to see the things that you have. So a lot of times we focus on things that we don't have, like I don't have the right person, or I don't have a person in my life, or I don't have the job I want, or I don't have, what I thought I was going to have at this time of my life. And we start to feel as though we're have-nots and we're lacking. And when we practice gratitude, we start to focus on what we have and the good things that we have. So there's always something to be grateful for. A lot of times I tell my clients, what is one thing that you're happy to have? So yes, I understand you wish you had more of this, more of that you don't have this, and you wish you had that. But what is something that you are happy that you do have? So let's talk about the power of gratitude and focus. So someone comes into my office and I say to them, focus on everything in the room that is blue. And they take time and they look at everything in my office that is blue. And I say, okay, so you see everything that's blue, right? And they're like, yes, perfect. So you just focus on everything in my office that is blue. Now I want you to close your eyes and tell me everything in the office that is green. And they start to struggle. They're like, oh, I think maybe the pen on your desk. I think maybe you had a book. They struggle. I said, it's okay, open your eyes. And they open their eyes. And I'm like, why did I ask you to focus on everything that's blue and then tell me what is green? The reason I did that was to show them how powerful their focus is. By them spending all that time focusing on the blue, they miss the green. And in some cases, actually in most cases, there's actually something green right in front of them that they didn't see. Why? Because they were too focused on the blue. So gratitude is putting your focus on the things that make you feel good. Not so much that things that are not good are not important or not something that you need to think about, but you're putting your focus on the things that give you pleasure and joy. And gratitude is a key component to happiness. So I will suggest that you take a book, a journal, and you write down, what am I grateful for? Put your focus on the things that make you feel good. It could be one thing, it could be two things, but I promise you, you will feel better just by taking that time to focus on what feels good. It's the power of gratitude, and it's so crucial. I remember feeling really bad about something and I wasn't in the mood to practice my gratitude. I was so focused on everything that was going bad. The snowstorm, the ticket that I had on my car. But I forgot all the good because I wasn't focusing on it. The stranger that actually helped me get out of a really serious parking jam that I was in. They actually helped me shovel and get me out of that, but I wasn't focused on that. I was actually focused more on the ticket. I was focused more on the snowstorm, and I really didn't even take the time to realize somebody helped me. Somebody took the time to help me. So it's when we practice gratitude is we really shift our perceptions and really start to focus on things that we may not focus on otherwise. It gives us time to reflect and think about, this is actually something really good. This is something that really was a great thing that happened to me. So I'm going to encourage you all to spend some time, maybe 5-10 minutes every night, to write down, what am I grateful for? So that's something that I do on a daily basis, and it has helped me immensely. So now let's talk about another strategy. What about the power of mindfulness? Mindfulness is the ability to be in the moment and not to be anxious, scared, worried about anything else, but to be focused on the moment and how you feel within this moment. So people look to be calm. They look to be at peace. And I don't know about you, but I am definitely not at peace and not calm when I'm anxious, when I'm scared, and when I'm worried. But when you're mindful, you can't be anxious because mindfulness and anxiety cannot coexist at the same time. What do I mean by that? I mean, you cannot be in this moment, right here, right now, and worrying about what's going to happen tomorrow. It's not possible. So I want you to take time to ground yourself and be mindful. This will absolutely help you during the holidays when you're feeling stressed and anxious and sad. Take a pause and focus on the things around you. I'm going to give you a great exercise, and if you're like not driving while you're listening to this and you're actually in a safe place, I would encourage you to try this right now. So I'm going to ask you to focus on 5 things that you can see. So I'll do this exercise with you. So right now I can see a blue and gray present on my desk. I can see a white reindeer, a brown cone tree, a gray owl, and a candy cane that's red and green. 5 things that I see. What are 4 things that you can touch? So right now, I can feel the candy cane. It feels hard. I can feel the reindeer. It feels solid. And it feels a little soft in on some parts of it. The present, the wrapping feels soft, but a little bit rugged as well. And the cone tree, it feels prickly and hard. Now I'm going to focus on 3 things that I can hear. So taking a moment to just listen to 3 sounds. Taking that moment to listen to 3 sounds. I can hear the cars behind me. I can hear the heating. And I can hear the camera. And what are 2 things that you can smell? I can smell my Purell, and I can smell the Febreze in the air. And what's one thing I can taste? The coffee that I just had before I started this podcast. Those are the 5 things. Those are the 5 ways to ground yourself through what are 5 things that I can see, what are 4 things that I can touch, feel, what are 3 things that I can hear, 2 things that I can smell, and 1 thing that I can taste. And by focusing on the things that I have around me, my senses, I cannot be anxious. This is a great tool to ground yourself. So whenever you feel anxious, scared, worried, take that pause and say, okay, what do I see? What do I hear? What do I smell? What do I taste? What can I touch? Take that much needed pause to bring yourself back to the moment and be mindful. Another really great tool that I like to use is a meditation. And I'm going to show you what I like to do to meditate. So I actually, anybody who knows me or works with me knows I do love candles. I love scented candles specifically. So I have a candle. And what I'm going to do is I light the candle because, well, that's how you smell it. So I'm going to light my candle. And I find this really helps me to just self-soothe myself. I light the candle. And I really enjoy, connecting to my sense of smell. and enjoying the process of lighting the candle, smelling the candle. And then something that I have done with a lot of clients, and I do this personally myself, is I will put on something relaxing. For me, I really enjoy the sound of rain or thunder or the ocean, and I will put that on for like 5 minutes and just take a moment. I take a pause to just listen to the sounds, smell my candle, and just listen to the sounds that I hear. This is such a calming way for you to decompress and take a much needed pause. Super important if you just want to help yourself, to soothe yourself during difficult, challenging times. So let's talk about some other strategies to help with the holiday blues. You know, something that I also really appreciate about the holidays, which doesn't require being with anybody, is sometimes just cooking myself a nice little meal. Something that will help ground me and something that will give me something to do that's pleasurable. Just find something that you're saying, you know what? I've never cooked this meal. I'm going to try today. I'm going to do this for myself because I've always wanted to cook this meal, and why not? So what you want to be able to do during these times, especially if you're lonely and you're by yourself, is find things that you can do that give you pleasure that you could do on your own. And I'm not taking away, I totally understand that loneliness is a big issue, especially with the COVID pandemic. And this is why we need to start doing things that give us pleasure, that doesn't require other people, and still gives us the opportunity to do something that we enjoy, regardless of having somebody to do it with. Whether it's cooking, whether it's meditating, whether it's reading a book, taking a walk. Do something that gives you pleasure. Do something that makes you feel good. Do something that's going to help bring you and lift you up. You know, I would not encourage you at all to be, watching the news about things that make you feel bad, about the pandemic or anything that doesn't make you feel good, or watching things that don't inspire you or enlighten you, but maybe make you feel sadder. Be mindful of what you're watching, of what you're doing, and most importantly, be mindful about how are you speaking to yourself during these holidays. Are you criticizing yourself, saying, look at me, I have nobody, or I can't believe I'm in this situation now, or this is a horrible time of year? Or are you saying things to yourself like, it's going to be okay. We'll find something to do. Yes, it's true. I may not have somebody in my life or I'm not happy where I am, but it's okay right now. This is where I am right now, and I'm doing the best I can right now at this moment. How are you speaking to yourself? Are you feeding that holiday blue or those winter blues by telling yourself that story? Oh, this life is horrible. This sucks. This is awful. Or are you saying things like, it's going to be okay. We can do this. Let's find something that we can do that will give us pleasure, regardless of who's in our life. We have the power, we do, of how we choose to feel about things. We could choose to be a victim about it, or we could choose to empower ourselves. We could choose to say, this sucks, or I'm going to find a solution to make this better. It's all about you. It's all about how you choose to react. I want to leave you on one more really good nugget. It's called a pace breathing exercise that I really believe will help you during some challenging, difficult times. So if you're watching this, you can follow my lead. And if you're just listening to this, it's perfect as well. I'm going to ask you to put your shoulders back and your chest lifted. Close your eyes and imagine in front of you a flower. Imagine this flower right in front of you. And then imagine on your knees is maybe a cupcake with a bunch of candles. What you want to do is you want to breathe in the flower and blow out those candles like this. Breathing in the flower and blowing out the candle. Breathing in and blowing out. And if we were to count this, you are counting 4 breaths in and 3 breaths out. So breathing in 1, 2, 3, 4, and breathing out 1, 2, 3. Taking 4 in and breathing out 3. This will help you to reconnect with yourself. This will help you when you're feeling anxious or stressed to reconnect. What you want to do is find your inner peace. You want to be able to find your stillness, and you can only do that when you take that much needed breath. Like I said before, you can't be anxious and mindful at the same time. So I hope that these strategies and tools has helped you today. Please join me next week for another episode to help you live your best life. In the meantime, have a wise day, and I'll see you soon.